You will not believe, after 15 minutes of this, I was suffering for 15 minutes with this. Approximately 15 minutes, I was just calling out to these people. Nothing worked. And then you will not believe, my tongue said Allahu Akbar and my body completely released.
This video is sponsored by Nature's Blends. Check out their premium black seed range. Get 10% off now. Link is in the description.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everyone. I'm joined with Ramesh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, both of you.
So make sure you guys check out his Instagram, mashallah, that's where we met. And I don't know his story yet, and neither do you.
No, I don't.
So I'm very excited to just get to it and learn about what's going on with you. So Ramesh, did you have a religion before you became Muslim? Did you believe in God? What was the story there?
Okay, so I'll get straight to the point. In India, you guys might know that there is plethora of religion. You know, India is one of the lands where idol worship. There are crores and crores and millions of idols and that people worship to, and religion as well. So I was a born Hindu, raised in a Hindu family. My parents were Hindus, and I really actually liked the partying part of the festivals, like the festivals, what comes, the food, and it was all about the fanciness of it. There was never an attachment or something like that. Our parents worshipped all of those things. In fact, my parents were people who built temples around India, which had a lot of idols in it. And, you know, I obviously, as Muslims, we are not supposed to insult any god, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, he tells us that, you know, do not insult, lest they will insult Allah, being ignorant. So yeah, in no way or form am I now putting down any other religion. We are just talking about my journey here. So I come from a Hindu background, and so do my parents, obviously. And we believed, we have all those statues in our house, and we go to the temple, we worship. So in my childhood, something that bothered me a lot was when we used to stand in queues, big queues for hours to worship these idols inside the temple. If you see in films, you know, I'm sure you guys have not gone into a temple, but
I've been inside before I became Muslim. I've been inside. I've seen.
Oh, okay. So we in India, you have to literally stand in queue for hours. Like if you stand at the line at morning 3 o'clock, you will be entering at 12 o'clock in the noon. So and my father was a diplomat. He's retired now, so he was a diplomat in the Indian government. So you know, all this VIP culture with security guards around you, just walk straight into the premises of the temple. And I used to look at all these people, poor people, standing in lines, and they're looking with an innocent face at me, as if I am something big and they are something small. So this is one aspect that I'll never liked. And I could see that innocence in their face, that these are people who stand for hours, and these guys just walk in with bodyguards, security guards, leading directly into the temple.
Yeah.
So this, I felt as if God was waiting for us to go and see him. This was what feeling that the temple worship, it gave me, to go and visit him. And then we say tata, bye bye, and we go off, and then he's just sitting there. So this was my religion as far as it, and it was only about the food and the glamour. You know, people celebrate it with movies. Like if there is a festival that comes, there are different movies that get released during such time.
Oh wow.
And it was all about enjoyment. There was nothing at the core of the heart that got connected for me. And then I just, and then my schooling. So this was my childhood, like born in a Hindu family. And then I studied in a Christian school from preschool. So it's called Don Bosco. You know, I heard about Don Bosco. It's an Italian group. It's a very, alhamdulillah, it's a beautiful school. Gave me a lot of knowledge and curriculum. So, you know, Christian schools, they are very proactive in not only in academics, but also in a lot of other activities like sports and drama and a lot of other stuff. So I used to also believe in Jesus Christ. I used to go to the church. We used to have those prayers, Sunday prayers, mass prayers. And we used to get down on our knees on the bench and worship Jesus Christ. Yeah, and the entire everybody, even the Hindus here, they have no problem worshiping Jesus Christ. But then all of a sudden, then what happened for me was Islam was the only religion for me, which was I was Islamophobic. Whenever I used to see somebody with a beard and a kufi topi, I said, this guy is going to either kill me, he's going to stab me,
Wow.
or, that's the notion exactly how the media has put in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I feel the same way.
yeah. And if you see the butcher shops in India and Pakistan, they're all run by people who have big beards and they have wear this lungi around, and it gives it. And in the movies they show it the same way, that these guys are committing crimes. So the entire notion about Islam in my country, the media has kind of messed it up.
Oh.
Yeah. So we were all scared. Still people are scared only by looking at the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But the Quran, the Hadith, nowhere has reached people's eyes. Forget hearts. It has not reached people's eyes. They have not read it. People have not read it. People don't know the Hadiths and what Islam actually guides us to. People have not identified the shaitan, the evil voice that comes within every human being and ask us to provoke us to do a lot of wrong stuff. People have no idea, are not able to distinguish between the right and the wrong because Islam has been misinterpreted. So I was always a materialistic guy, always had this high ambition of literally say 40, 50 pairs of shoes and 40, 50 pairs of watches and, fancy cars, and completely always my mind was on the materialism. And never was point A, never was I happy after buying all those things. I used to get those things, and the next minute I wouldn't have even used it. My heart would tell me what's next in your line. So I found a very toxic relationship within myself, that you are not happy even if you wanted something. This is what you're craving for. Okay, now you got it, but you're not happy. Why? So there was this always this void within myself. And this is all because of the creativeness. You know how creative people are, right? They always want to be on the high. So never satisfied with anything that materialism gave me. And then this is after my schooling, I go for my MBA. So when I went for my MBA, I was a little bit distant from my parents. So there is when the religion didn't kick in there. That was that phase when religion was not there in my life. And even there I used to, in Singapore we celebrate a lot of Christmas, we celebrate all other festivals. But Islam has got, if you see, there is nothing fancy about the festivals in Islam. There's nothing fancy. If you go to the core of the celebrations of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there is nothing glamorous, there is nothing fancy, there is nothing colorful, but the heart is always lit up. Even when we are starving during Ramadan, astaghfirullah, we should not use the word starving, when we are sacrificing for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that happiness people are not able to see, but we as Muslims, we are able to feel it. But obviously we can't let other people feel what we feel. So again, during my MBA phase, I have a lot of ambitions. Obviously, what an MBA guy, when he comes out, he's got all this business plans, and I did my MBA in finance and Islamic finance, and the norm and the graduation and the MBA, they literally don't go hand in hand. I couldn't apply in banks. I couldn't apply in stock market offices. So I had a lot of issues there because I did my MBA in finance and marketing. So, but my major was finance. So my job thing took a lot of toll there because nobody was offering me a job which I wanted. And obviously Singapore, they had a lot of issues that time with the job. So I had to come back to India. So when I came back to India, so this is where my reward story actually begins. This is just a small synopsis of what I wanted to tell so that people could connect. So I am actually physically a very active guy, alhamdulillah, since my very crazy about diet and six pack and this thing. So this was one day in 2017 November. 2017 November, I have my normal workouts, and it was a weekend, and I was at home. So my general routine, I go to bed, At around 2 o'clock in the night, my body completely freezes. It shuts down. Completely shut down. I'm not able to move my limbs. I'm not able to move my head, my eyes, nothing. Except for my tongue, which is moving, and my head is moving. So some people call it sleep paralysis. Something like a seizure. But something like this has never happened to me before in my entire 27 years of life. Nothing like that happened, Alhamdulillah. So something like this happens and I freak out. I get scared. I get scared to the point where I started calling all the gods that I worshipped since childhood. I didn't leave any stone untouched. Every single god I worshipped, I invoked to please save me from that trauma, because it was something like was pressing me onto my bed. I was able to breathe, but then I was not able to move. It was really scary for me, as if some ghost or something, attacked me or something. And then I call out to every single idol that I worshipped. Nothing came to rescue. I call Jesus al-Islam. I call Maryam al-Islam, because these are so-called gods that I worship. And point to be noted, I was Islamophobic. I had got no relationship. In fact, I thought Allahu Akbar, the term, was a barbaric term that people used to either chop animals or to kill people. Because I have come across those videos where people, cut off people's head and they say Allah. So that was the only phrase that I knew about Islam, and which was barbaric. You will not believe, after 15 minutes of this, I was suffering for 15 minutes with this. Approximately 15 minutes, I was just calling out to these people. Nothing worked. And then you will not believe, my tongue said Allahu Akbar and my body completely released. My body completely released. My tongue said Allahu Akbar. And that point of time I was like, what had just happened? Why did this happen? Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar is the only thing that I was scared of in pertaining to Islam. Why would such a thing happen? And I go to Google. I type what is Allahu Akbar. It says Allahu Akbar is the greatest. I said, oh, that is the greatest. But why did my tongue has to say this? And why did it? Nothing got released basically. So the moment I said Allahu Akbar, my entire body released. I go to my kitchenette. I drink a glass of water, and that was the most calm that I have ever felt in my heart. I come back to my room at around 3 o'clock. I Google everything about what Allahu Akbar, what it meant. Alhamdulillah, next day morning I took my Shahada all that.
Wow.
So, every single time I tell myself, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you hidayat in 1 second. It just took 1 second for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give you. And Alhamdulillah, I and no Muslim should ever, even for $1 billion, should sell their iman, their faith. La ilaha illallah is beyond the heavens and the earth.
Yeah.
The heavens and the earth exist because of La ilaha illallah.
Wow.
He gave me this without any intervention. And I tell myself in every prayer, when the call of the adhan comes, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, I tell myself, I remind myself, without any human intervention. No people gave me dawah. I had no Muslim friends who gave me dawah ever. I have those 2 friends and they have never called me to Islam. They never spoke to me about Islam. Nobody has ever told me what Islam meant, what it is. Come to Islam, look at Islam, read the Quran, read the Prophet. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a name which I didn't like before I knew anything about Islam. And Allah just literally fed me with this golden spoon of hidayat. And I tell myself that moment, Allah or the angel, Allahu Alam, He literally held my soul, and He didn't let me go till I said Allahu Akbar. And this, you guys might think, why after 2017 all of a sudden in 2021 are you coming and telling this story? Weren't you so excited to tell this reverse story out before? So there was the waswas of the shaitan telling me, what do you want? Fame, telling people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you hidayat like this? I had to literally have a battle with me for all this while. And now I question myself,
Yeah.
what if you pass the next day? This beautiful story might spark people's heart
Yeah,
to
100%.
a feather of
It's
a hat.
inspiring. It's so inspiring, mashallah.
And this is what exactly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's kun means for me.
Yeah,
Allah said kun and be, and it is.
yeah, mashallah.
And then what happens? So this is my reward story. So I would also want to add of what happened to my mom, dad, and my brother. So we are 4 of us. So then what happens? I start reading the Quran. After all this happens, I start reading the Quran and I really get scared. Because as a new reward, you start reading the Quran, you are really scared what is written in the hellfire, the disbelievers.
Yeah.
And my mom and my dad were really strong on the other side. Their faith was strong on the other side. So every night I used to cry, I used to get scared.
Yeah.
But there is something, Allah guides whom He wills. When this verse used to come in the Quran, Allah guides whom He wills. That used to give me some kind of calmness. So like, you cannot do anything.
Yeah.
Guidance for your parents and your brother is not in your hands. It is with Allah subhanahu. And that is when I was just praying my tahajjud and my fajr salah. I was not praying all my 5 prayers when I got Islam. This is the first 1 month after I got Islam. I was just praying my fajr and my tahajjud salah. You will not imagine, I used to cry in my tahajjud. I used to be in prostration for an hour, literally in an hour, because alhamdulillah, I've got strong shoulders. And I used to cry for my parents' hidayat and my brother's hidayat. Within the next 3 months, my brother takes the Shahada in February 2018.
Allahu Akbar.
Without my intervention.
Wow.
Next 1 month, my mom takes the Shahada.
No way.
And next other month, my dad takes the Shahada.
Oh,
All because of Tahajjud. Surah Asr. It's a very short surah. But that surah also tells every Muslim that not only the five pillars of Islam which Allah had made fard, but if you read the Surah Asr, dawah is also fard on us. Calling people to that's what dawah is, right? Calling people to the faith of Islam.
Yeah.
So fard for every Muslim. Illa alladhina amanu wa amilu salihat wa tawasaw bil haqq wa tawasaw bis sabr. Except that you believe and do righteous deeds and advise each other to truthfulness and advise each other to patience.
Mhm.
So I'm calling every Muslim to do beautiful dawah. So alhamdulillah, so this is my reward story.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Thank you so much for sharing it. It's absolutely such an incredible story. I think one of my favorites I've ever heard on my channel.
Yeah, that's
Alhamdulillah.
definitely my favorite.
Yeah.
mashallah, yeah.
It's so amazing, and Allah's guided you in such a special way, and with that gift Allah's given you, I think it's very important for you to share your story, and inshallah you'll make more content. Guys, make sure you follow him on Instagram. I'd like to see you making more content, inshallah.
May Allah bless you both, bless our ummah and whoever is going through a lot of difficulties during this pandemic. May Allah lift all the barriers for us and bless us with this hidayat and keep us in His hidayat till we reach Him in Jannatul Firdaus al-A'la. Ihdina Siratal Mustaqim.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone.